Hi guys. So a lot of you have come to me recently and asked whether you should go now for free German education or you should wait for 1 or 2 years. And my answer to all of you have been apply as soon as possible. So there are people who are saying I will wait for 1 or 2 years because all the pandemic is going on and I want to stay in India. And there are a lot of you who want to go now. So everybody is in a very difficult situation in terms of decision making. And if you want free education in Germany, then I would say that you should go now. And the reason is go now and apply now. And the reason is that the free education may not stay free forever. German universities or German government is giving 8,500 euros per student per year. So let's say you get an admission in German university. Why is it for free? You should think about it. And how much is the money which the government is paying for the professor, for the university, library, and so on? So that is 8,500 euros. So if you get an admission to a German university, effectively you are getting 8,500 euros per year from the German government, not directly, but indirectly, because somebody is paying the salary of the professor, somebody is paying for the library, and so on. So today I'll quickly show you an article from 2018 where this topic has been hugely debated in Germany. And a lot of you might not know, but there were protests against the non-EU students. So this is a non-EU student. You can look at his face and you can tell that it seems like he's not a European guy, and that's why maybe he's protesting. Um, but there are states where you actually have to pay, like Baden-Württemberg, you have to pay 1,500 euros per semester as a tuition, which is very low if you compare to Denmark, where they charge 10,000 euros per year because they have to pay the money to the professors, the salary of the professors. Therefore, there has to be a tuition fees. Now, many of these German states have started to introduce this kind of tuition fees. For example, states in Baden-Württemberg, but most of the states do not do it. And the reason primarily is that Germany needs a lot of students. They need students because once they become engineers, then they work for German companies. And German economy, as you know, is doing extremely well, and therefore this system has been working. So German universities are being fed by Indian and Chinese engineers, and these engineers then go and work for German companies, which then pay taxes to the government. The government gives that money back to the universities. Universities would attract a lot of students, and then the students would again go to the German universities, German companies. So German companies are heavily dependent because Germany only has a population of 8 crores or 80 million. That is not sufficient for German economy. German economy is at a very different and a high level than compared to most of the developing world, right? So there are a couple of these states which have already started charging non-EU foreigners some fees, and and this trend is going to go up. Like more and more states will introduce this kind of fees. So in past, as I said, German economy was doing well, and each each state, so for example Hamburg or Bavaria or whatever, all these states, just like in India, you have Gujarat, Rajasthan, and so on. All these states could take debt, could take loans from banks, and then they would give this money to their universities. But recently, their German federal government, German central government, is tightening. So they are saying to their state universities and the state governments essentially that you should not take on more debt. And that is constraining the budget of those particular states, right? And therefore the federal states cannot just give out a lot of money to these universities. But if you look at Eastern Germany, so there is this university in Mittweida, and in the eastern part of Germany. These guys have a lot of money because their state is actually getting a lot of money from the federal government, and they're also able to take a lot of loans, and then they are able to even sponsor students for their projects and abroad and so on. So even Indian students who are going abroad, like one semester, if they go abroad, if they have 7 semesters, one semester, if they go abroad, they will actually get money from the university to go abroad in Eastern Germany, parts of it. But if you talk about Western Germany or some of these states where there is already an education, tuition fees, These kinds of things do not happen. Um, so I don't know if you saw this in some other places, but there were a lot of protests in Germany because there are some states which are actually asking for tuition fees now. And I don't think this trend is going to go down. This trend is only going to go up because German universities are becoming popular, and why should they give stuff for free, right? So typically, so what is the 64%? Typically, the university graduates actually make 64% more than normal people or people who have done apprenticeship. So 64% is very, very high number, right? So if somebody is earning, let's say 2,000 euros as an apprenticeship, as an apprentice, then a university graduate can easily make 64% more. Now, just think about it. Why should the government pay somebody free tuition who will get 64% higher salary afterwards? And there is a progressive tax system, which means that if you earn 100,000 euros, you pay more tax. If you earn 200,000 euros, you pay even more tax, and so on. So that is called progressive tax system. So the logic is that if you earn high as a graduate, then you should be able to pay more. And if you will be able to pay more, then you should also pay the university, and you should not take the tuition fees for free. So that is a competing argument. There is a lot of, so a lot of students might not know, I'm old enough to know this, that in past actually Germany had a fees, tuition fees, and slowly over a period of time it was reduced in most universities. Do not assume that this will last forever. You can actually go back to, Germany can go back to the system of uh, of charging no fees, or charging fees. What happened is that there were states which were charging no fees, and then there were states which were charging a lot of fees, and then the students would actually go to states which were not charging fees, and therefore there was some kind of competitiveness between different states to make sure that they are attractive for even the local students. So that is what was happening there. Competition between the states, like who can provide free education. And so these have been some of the argumentation for and against. This article you can actually read online. I'll also put a link to this article. But the whole point is that if you are waiting for free education and assuming that free education will be there in Germany in 2023 or 24, I don't think it's going to remain like that forever. So the best option for you is that you should actually start to apply now. And even if it's a low ranked university, or if it's a university in Eastern Germany, I would take it. Don't be too hell bent on going to a particular university, like, okay, I only want to study in Technical University of Munich. I only want to study artificial intelligence. I only want to study robotics. Don't be so rigid. I would say that go there ASAP, get into a free education program, whether it's bachelor's or master's. I've always suggested that you should go for bachelor's, because once you have the bachelor's, then you can actually go to the US. And the German university undergrad is very, very well recognized in US, and it gives you a different kind of a flavor of that international spice. Like, you add to your diversity factor when you are applying for your masters, which is super important in US. So these are a few things, guys. I mean, just apply, and don't think that this free tuition fees is going to last forever. A lot of students who asked me, actually, somebody I was on a call with yesterday, with their parents, with his parents, and he said, I want to wait for 2 years, even though the tuition fees is zero or very low right now. I just want to wait because of pandemic. I mean, Germany is safe. You have proper healthcare, and the students are allowed to travel back and forth from India to Germany. So I don't see any reason why you should not go this year or next year. So apply ASAP, and good luck. See you guys. Bye.